we decode the hidden truths.
Certain times situation will come where you have to be a role model or you have to take a position and you cannot drop, and that is what makes you, and that crafts your personality. So I feel like in this case because this podcast is, I'm sure, must be there for youngsters. So I feel like you need to have some good friends with you. Now industry is not looking for your degree, they want skilled manpower. So if you have human trust human, they don't trust technology. Why? Because by a mistake, if I press a button and something happens into my account, I don't know how to retrieve it back into my account. So it's going to be very, very tough. So technology is changing, humans have to change. So you need to understand the upcoming technology. So you cannot survive in an area where you don't have any interests. So in figuring out what is your interest is very important. Take your time to understand what actually you would like to do. If you get to save first and then spend later, this new generation is you spend now, pay later. Just follow the aura, his surrounding. You'll be having similar sort of disciplined people around him. So you'll not be able to figure out anyone who is a casual oriented guy in their group. So grouping is very important.
Hey guys, how are you? I hope you all are doing great. Before I start, I would like to say one thing. If someone shared this podcast with you, please honestly say thank you to them. Because from this podcast, you will learn a lot of things you weren't even expecting from this podcast. So today, we are joined by a very experienced and respected personality who has seen both the professional and the academic world. So today we are having a podcast with the Anoop Mohanty sir, who is the HOD of Finance Department in LP, and before he becoming the HOD of Finance Department, he also worked in the banking sector as a manager. So from today's podcast, you will learn a lot of things about finance, about real life relation, about industry expectation, and why human will always matter in the world which is driven by technology and AI. And honestly, I strongly believe from today's podcast, you will get a perspective that most of the people usually get after many years of their life. So even personally, I learned a lot of things from this podcast. So guys, make sure please watch this podcast till the end. And lastly, if you get even a single valuable insight from this podcast, please make sure to subscribe Rishi Project Decoded channel. But for you, it only takes a second, but for us, it means a lot. It motivates us, it supports us, and it helps us to bring more valuable podcasts like this. So guys, what are you waiting for? Let's begin. So let's welcome our respected HOD of Finance Department, Anoop Mohanty sir.
Thank you, Rishi. Thank you a lot for calling me for this session.
Thank you so much, sir, for being here. Sir, before we start this session, so before we're talking about the finance, career, and the future, so I just want to say something, sir. So this question is from the student. So this is very special question. So this question will be the last question for this podcast.
Okay.
So this is a very interesting thing for this podcast, sir. Okay. So please keep it.
I need to keep it like this.
Okay.
And it will be kept as a secret till last. Okay.
Yes, sir. Sir, before we start, so I just want to know more about your journey. So as a student, we usually only know our teachers inside classroom. We see the lecture, the discipline, the knowledge, and the professional side of you. But we really get to understand the human being behind all of that. So before becoming an HOD, before the experience, achievement, and responsibility, who was the younger version of you during your difficult days? What were the struggle, pressure, or life experience that quietly shaped the person your students see today?
You see, if you go back into history and think about like what type of personality I was like an average student in a classroom and had nothing very special and no skill set. It was like a normal journey of any other student. And then during my post graduation, I met with some of my batchmates and my departmental head, Dr. Prahlad Rai Agarwal ji, who was actually a turning point in my life. Like he gave me certain, like you see, guidelines or way outs, which helped me to manage many of my stress situations. My first job was in South Indian Bank from 2003 to 2008. I joined as a clerk, and then it was very stressful. Why? Because you have to sit in cash, and then it was very hectic to do everything precisely what is required for. As far as that operations role was concerned, it was very hardworking time for me, and that I was supposed to sit for very late hours, sorting off currency notes, and then sending it to clearinghouse, to currency chest, and then fighting with currency chest officials to get it deposited. Though it was very tough. And then I got promoted to my assistant managerial post, got my promotion and transferred to Amritsar branch, where the previous manager was actually put into a suspension due to a fraud case. And I don't know how, but my department showed trust on me, and then it was my first assignment as a supervisor, and that too in a branch where one of my friend was working as a manager, and he was into, like you see, put into some like accounting fraud. So working in that type of environment was very, very tough. Why? Because you have to decide whether you're going to work in favor of your friend or in favor of your institution. So that time I had a very clear thought ki, because I've been deputed by South Indian Bank, so I need to be very loyal, and like you see, I need to report everything that I'm able to observe from that branch to my regional office. So it was a bit of struggle. Why? Because I never have been in past away from my family. It was my first transfer out of Chandigarh, and then it was very testing time. So I actually, when you don't stay with your family, you have your 24 hours available for your, like you see, for your work profile. So I used to stay back in my branch for late hours, and then I learned a lot. What I feel is, like, when you don't work for 9 to 5, then it is the time apart from 5, like after 5 and early morning hours, it is a time when you're all alone into your branch. You're sitting with some seniors, they teach you a lot. After working hours, 9 to 5 means customer dealing is going on, so you don't learn much. So what I've learned is, like, through hardship, nothing is easy, and there is an opportunity cost that you have to pay for everything. Like you see, you cannot sail in two boats simultaneously. So for many a times I have seen that certain things you need to opt for, and in lieu to that you have to drop some of the cases. Like while attending my job, I was not able to attend my convocation, and I was there in Chandigarh, and convocation is hardly, let's say, 3 kilometers away from my branch. But due to the operational challenges that we have, staff shortage or something, so I was not able to go in. That was very painful. But still, what I've learned is, like you see, certain times situation will come where you have to be a role model, or you have to take a position, and you cannot drop. And that is what makes you, and that crafts your personality. So that thing, along with that, then I shifted into, like you see, teaching. That shift was not so easy. I saw some students coming into our South Indian Bank who were very, like you see, they were not caring about their internship, and through their interactions, I felt like maybe their academic background institution may not be giving them the right set of, like you see, training that is required. So that point I had a like thought in my mind, why not I shift into teaching rather than training some of the summer interns in my bank.
Okay, so like there's a lot of difficult phases like you're talking about. So during that difficult phases, how did you personally manage your mentally and emotionally? What kept you moving forward during those moments?
So I feel like in this case, because this podcast is, I'm sure, must be there for youngsters. So I feel like you need to have some good friends with you. Okay. Because if you have friends and you have someone who's acting as a mentor, they may be able to guide you during your tough time. I remember when I went for the first time to Amritsar, it was not so easy for me. Every weekend I used to come back to Chandigarh. There was no settlement. I was not feeling it easy. But you see, again, the moment you get some good friends around you, you build up your team, and that is where you see you start settling down easily. So whenever you have a tough time, you need to have some good friends to back up. So whenever I went into a trouble, like maybe a medical emergency, it was like when it went into this, suffered from typhoid multiple times. And then I had a team in Chandigarh. So once they came to know that I am suffering, so they immediately come back for my rescue. So I know that without team, it's very tough to survive. So I'll always recommend my younger batch people to keep, like, you should have good friends, so that when you go into tough time, they are there to back you up. So they'll give you some confidence, and then once you are back into action, then you can, like you see, you can perform like anything.
So today I know that good friend is very important for our boys' life. So, sir, honestly, sir, like many students hear the word finance, and immediately they feel stress. So let me ask you this: what do you think? So many students fear finance instead of understanding it. And is finance really difficult, or are students learning it the wrong way?
I feel like when this word finance comes into a discussion, students do have a perception that it is all numbers. But if you go by the course or the content, you will find that every topic in finance do have a theoretical perspective too.
Okay.
Once you understand the theory part, then understanding numericals is very easy. There is no need to cram anything. If you understand the logic behind the entire context, then framing those formulas is very easy. Now you see, it is only a mind game. Students come with the perception that it is very tough. So even though it is an easy topic, you are not ready to accept that thing, and you make it more tougher. So when it comes to finance and in class, I feel like students should have an open mindset, should be able to put up their queries across to faculty without any thought like how it will be reverted back. Maybe sometimes you do have a concept of social boycott, or like social status is getting hit by, because you are asking some questions. So I feel like if you have some doubts in your mind, make sure you first do your homework. Why? Because when you are going to ask a question to a faculty, you should have a clear question. Then only you will be able to get a clear answer. But when I'm asking a question without any clarity, without any homework, I have not worked on my problem area, and I'm straightforwardly putting up a question to my faculty, maybe what faculty is going to revert back is not acceptable at my end. So what I mean to say homework is, like, when you have a trouble, so please try to explore it at your own also, how that problem can be resolved, like going into books, checking it on various AI platforms. Like ChatGPT is a very like you see friendly interface, where whatever doubts you have, like run a prompt, run a query, and you get a trouble you don't understand, you further need to go into in depth and then study more onto it. And I'm sure 50% of your trouble is already resolved when you start taking some initiatives to like you see help yourself out. And then remaining portion, I'm sure when you take it to your faculty will be able to help you with some notes or some solutions which may resolve your case. So YouTube is a very good platform.
Yes.
Students can refer YouTube. Only thing is, like, don't feel demotivated only because you don't understand what teacher is teaching you in class. If you try it outside the classroom, do some, you see, watch out for some sessions on weekend, and then you see, the only thing is, like, you need to feel confident that yes, you are able to understand. There are many teachers with different teaching styles. Some teachers suit you, some teachers don't suit you. So it don't mean that finance is tough. So if you don't like get connected to a faculty, always stay open, talk to them outside the classroom, share your problems. Maybe sometimes faculty also may moderate according to the nature of students, and maybe we come to a conclusion where course is going to be better or easier for student to understand.
That's wonderful, sir. Wonderful. Student need to know this. Sir, I think, sir, this connect deeply with real life, to say like finance is also important in our, like, even personal financing. So there's a lot of things. So, sir, school and college teach us formula, accounting and theory. So you already said, but very few students actually know how to manage money, build wealth, understanding investing, or think financially in real life. So, in your opinion, what does being financially intelligent actually mean today?
You see, I feel like theory, what you have in books, and what if let's say your lecturing done by teachers is also all theoretical in nature, this is not going to add any value to your portfolio. What you need to do is, like, you need to start act. Like, acting is like you have to do things on practical basis. Like you have to open a demat account. Go for opening a demat account, start investing. Even a small amount of money, let's say 100 rupee per month, is not a big deal. So if you go out and have a burger, it may cost you 100 rupees. So 100 rupee, let's say start with small size of 100 rupee per month. And if it suits you, I'm sure the next 100 rupee will come up very fast. So this concept of finance and its learning and its actual, like you see, application will only come in when you do things practically rather than theoretically. So let's say instead of doing a theoretical assignment, if we put you to live action where you are sent into market and asked to open some demat accounts. So when you're talking to people, asking them, or you're trying to convince them to open demat account, you see they'll be asking you some questions which are tricky, and actually they need an answer for the same, like why should I go with this broking firm or something like this. Then you will start reassessing and you'll be coming to a conclusion. Yes, when faculties or someone, a client is asking me a question, they may be asking me this question, then I have to convince them, and it is only possible when you have a logical answer to their query. So that involves lot of like huge homework before you go to clients. So whenever you visit clients or people, you talk to them, they have a, like you see, doubt or question to you, you go into a self introspection and learning process. You come up with a solution to the given problem. So experience is nothing, but the more and more you expose yourself to your, you see, target market or the type of things that you expect, like you see, let's say financial decision making and all. So it's like if you're doing it for yourself, then only you'll be able to convince someone. So instead of, like you see, simply going into theory, students should be put onto field. They should be given more of practical assignments. And you see, we do have a concept of seed money also in our BBA in the financial market program, where students are given 10,000 rupees just to invest into market. So once you get this art of investing money and getting some good returns, I'm sure this 10,000 will compound very fast. Students will be saving from their pocket money and will be putting it into, like you see, into their investments. And if you are getting good returns, so I'm sure you not only you do it for yourself, you also guide many other students who are not a part of this program.
Right. They will learn a lot of things from this project also, sir. Sir, now I want to shift toward the student career. So today students are under massive pressure about placement, packages, internship, competition, LinkedIn achievements. Sometimes it feels like everybody is running, but nobody really knows where they are going. So from your perspective as an educator, what do students misunderstood most about success and career growth?
You see, what I feel is like there were some keywords, like you said, placement is important. And satisfaction in your career is very, very important.
So I'm just saying, sir, like massive pressure about placement. So
placement is what I'm saying is, you see, as an HOD, I'm seeing so many students coming up into my office asking for placements, and that too in a relevant company. I have a quote. Before I say anything, I have a quote: beggars are not choosers.
Yes.
So what it means, like if you want to have your job in your dream company, you cannot rely on someone to arrange a company for you. You need to try off your own. So as a like fresher, because you're doing your degree right now, you don't have much of your job experience and all. So I expect first thing that should be there with student is they should have a good internship program, which is for approximately 2 months of time. Don't waste your opportunity. What happens is, like, student usually, because they don't have much of clarity, they go into any firm, complete their internship. Why? Because it is an academic requirement. Instead of taking it as an academic requirement, if they go in with a focused approach, let's say I'm a student who wants to go into financial markets, especially banking. I'm clear that if I need to go into banking, so I have to clear one IBPS exam.
Right.
So that exam is must. So I have to prepare for it. Second is, like, my summer internship should be aligned to banking. So where you will be working on certain projects related to bankers' regular routine profile. So what it will help me to understand is, like, what is my working environment? What type of expectations do my institution have it from me? Am I able to adapt to this given culture? So if it is not, so you get a clarity, and maybe possibly you'll be shifting your, like, you see, future dimension from banking to some other vertical. So what I suggest is summer internship will give you a very thorough insight of what type of like, you see, upcoming assignment is going to be there. And then apart from this, as a expert, so-called expert into banking domain, I recommend students going into certain specific sector specific certifications. Like for banking, student can go for IIBF, Indian Institute of Banking and Finance. For insurance, they may go into Insurance Institute of India, III, and then for share market and all other miscellaneous financial market related certification, they can go for NISM certifications, which are highly in demand. And I tell you one thing, Rishi, that what I have observed in last couple of like terms when students have been there in department and they left, is certifications play a very crucial role. Now industry is not looking for your degree, they want skilled manpower. So if you are, let's say I'm telling you NISM 5A certification is for mutual fund distributorship. If you clear this course, companies are ready to hire you up on a pay package. So it is all domain specific, it is all subject interest area specific. So if you want to work as broker or facilitator for mutual fund schemes, so simply clear this exam. Then I don't think so you need to complete your degree. Sorry to say, but this is what is going on. I'm sure the trend is going to change, and in coming years you'll see students doing skilling certifications rather than 3-year or 4-year programs. These degrees will be obsolete. Why? Because government is not able to give you any job. So it is all private sector which is flourishing like anything, and they want skilled manpower. Skilling, who is going to do it? There are some agencies that I already said, IIBF, III, NISM, NSE Academy. So they all are skilling it up. Now thing is, like, if students are able to clear those certifications, they are, like, readily fit for industry. The only thing is, like, your orientation should be workaholic sort. Like if given an opportunity, you're able to grasp it, learn it, and then you are going to add some value addition into your CV with the same. It will help you to craft your, future very well, rather than going into anything and everything.
That's powerful, sir. Students need to know this, and they need to do that, because that is industry is demanding only skill set. Sir, this question is it's only focused on you, sir. Since 2008 to till now, you are working here, so you have seen thousands of students over the year. And what separate average students from exceptional students? Because sometimes two students sit in the same classroom, but years later their lives go in completely different direction. So what really creates that difference?
You see, I'll tell you, there are some cases where students have been very, very successful. There are few things that you need to look at. One is like your commitment. Both student may be having 9 CGPA.
Yes.
But the issue is, like, someone who is focused, it's very tough to get 9 CGPA. What I'm saying is, students sometimes may not be able to score this well, but if they are focused, like I tell you I'll tell you the name of the person, Rohan Sinha. He is one of our BBA student. When he was there in the department, he was like any other student, and he was very calm down approach, and like any other. So, but his future context, always he was keeping it in mind, and he was very much interested into banking. He wanted to join banking sector. After completing BBA, he didn't found any way out to join banking sector. Then what he did is, like, he joined another institution in West Bengal, where he completed his masters, and it was a program where it was ending up into a banking job. Ultimately, if you complete this course and complete the internship program with the bank, they are going to pick you up for a banking profile. If you talk for that student today, he is vice president Morgan Stanley. He has reached to very high position in last almost hardly 10 years of time, and he has struggled. What I say, he has worked a lot. He has worked very hard. His family, I've seen, there were many cases where his family was not going through a good, period. There were within family members, there were certain issues that you have to take care of. Financially, he was not very sound, and then you need to set benchmark for your family. Today, he is actually a role model. I'm sure he is also acting as a mentor for many students in LPU. He is helping students. Why? Because he has gone through the same suffering. You don't have any reference, you don't have any recommendation, you need to start from zero. And he has achieved everything with his own hardship and commitment, and his focus towards what he wanted to do. Even after going into a public sector bank, he was never content. He keep on doing some certifications side by side, and he was always in touch with department, sir, what next. So I'm sure I'm not able to guide him well, but he was always looking for some sort of mentoring in his environment. And then you see from this Bank of Baroda to, like you see now he's into Morgan Stanley. This journey is again not so easy. He went into a private sector bank, worked in the risk mitigation department, then shifted to, like you see, multiple other institutions. It is not an easy job.
Right.
Many people do go into a containment. They feel that I got a government job, so now I need not to do anything. Now I feel it. The difference is like you have a aim which is very clear. Once you go into a public sector job or something which is a table job sort of thing, you should not be going into a relaxation mode. Why? Because if you don't keep on improvising yourself, so you may not be able to achieve that height in such a short duration of time. Imagine you might have been working in the same public sector bank, must have been into the same department of treasury management, even though the department is very good, and the scale and the volume of business that he was doing, he was into treasury operations, so volume was so huge. But point is, like, you may not be able to grow. Why? Because there is a check. You're contained with your treasury department only. You don't want to learn something new. You don't want to explore something new. So exploring new always will require some challenging assignments. You have to accept them. You may not have your comfort of your family. You cannot stay with your family. Maybe you have to stay away. So family is on one part of the country and you are on the other part of the country, but still you are aligned that you would like to be a very senior official into industry. It requires dedication, commitment, and you see, you need to balance your professional life and personal life very well. So talking to him personally, he is very grounded, even though he is into a very senior position, but still whenever he comes back to department, he is such a, like you see, you talk to him, you will never feel it that he is vice president in a, like you see, MNC. He is so grounded, talk to people very comfortably, and is always open for contributing something new to department. So this is one case, and if you look into other cases too, commitment and hardship is what I am sure is must for everyone. And then this new generation is actually debated on a lot when it comes to commitment. I don't know, my experience, when it comes to my experience, I don't have much. Why? Because when you go to industry, you will see how actually your generation is delivering. But whenever I'm talking to my batchmates of South Indian Bank, and now they are working in all different banks, so they all have a, like you see, negative quote for this younger generation who is coming in into new job roles and new profiles. Their commitment level has gone down tremendously. They want to discuss their salary packages, they want to discuss their like you see, incentives and other things, but they are not willing to stay back after 5 or let's say doing something all alone. So they don't want to take the ownership. So taking ownership and willingness to learn something after working hours is must. If you have it, then I feel like people will be comfortable teaching you something after 5. 9 to 5 is a normal routine exercise. Everyone will go at 5. If you are willing to stay back after 5, let's say 5 to 6, 6 to 6:30, along with your any seniors, so I'm sure that is the time when you learn a lot. That is the time when your bosses are like doing something like loan appraisals or some strategic decision making. So they'll engage you in those documentations, and then maybe they are comfortable to talk to you. 9 to 5, when customers are sitting in front, maybe that time you don't have any scope of learning much. So see for opportunity from your environment and learn. I know one student, Hansjit Duggal, again, he was doing his BCom here, and then he shifted to fine arts.
Okay.
Altogether a line shift. Now you see, he was a person who was so committed that he don't used to sleep for 2 to 3 days. Why? Because project is going on. Commitment is to such an extent, and now he has been shifted to California, running his own project, and he is earning, and like you see, you cannot compare his earning with, like you see, anyone from his other batchmates. He is making new ventures, and after every couple of years, he's, like you see, liquidating those ventures and earning good amount of cash out of it. So it all, you see, initial years you need commitment, hard work, dedication, and I feel like, I mean it, these are very important words. Sometimes you also struggle to stay committed on a project, but you see, if you have an exception is only when you're able to deliver them non-stop for a long period of time, and every time you do something, it will deliver you some positive result. If not now, maybe after 6 months or 1 year down the line. So you have to be like this.
So that's a very powerful lesson, and we'll learn a lot of things from this podcast. I believe. And so now the world itself is changing extremely fast. AI is changing industries, technology is changing jobs, and attention spans are getting shorter every year. And so I'm curious to know what finance skill or human qualities do you believe will still remain valuable in the future?
You see, I'll tell you, disruption is happening at a very fast pace. Conventionally, we are doing so many jobs which actually we need a good amount of manpower. Now it is all taken over by technology. Banking automation, or you say any financial sector you pick up, you will find automation is happening at a very fast rate. What is not going to change? Now need to understand 10 years down the line what type of job profiles will be there. I feel like there will be two set of individuals. One who is a generalist, one is a specialist. When I say you go into credit department, making some high-end policies, looking into what type of experiences you have it in past, is a specialist profile. You don't require it in every state, every branch. This is a profile which is available only in HO level, central division. Second is like treasury team, only one team at HO will be managing it. Why? Because all your operational tasks will be taken over by your AI, chatbots and all. Now you see, but when it comes to, like, let's say you do have customer relationship department. If you bring in automation, people are feeling desperate, and this automation may not be able to give them the right answers. Talking to an individual one-to-one, especially in rural area. You see, even though you speak a lot about disruption, technology, upgradation and all, this is only limited to your metros and main cities. If you go to rural area, I don't think so things have changed a lot. People don't trust technology. So when clients are not shifting to technological platforms, so banks and all financial services providers will also not be able to do it same. And I feel like their in one-to-one, individual to individual connections are very, very important. People trust human. They don't trust technology. Why? Because by a mistake, if I press a button and something happens into my account, I don't know how to retrieve it back into my account. So it's going to be very, very tough. So generalist means, like, let's say a call center is a generalist profile. So students need to make sure, are they working on a specialization? They are doing some extraordinary certifications, like you see high-end certifications just to retain their finance profile, or they are willing to accept anything coming to their way. Like, I'm putting you into a call center, your script is ready, every question has a preset answer. So when some customer is calling you up, that can be done through automation also, but people would like to listen to a person on the other side of the phone, or they would like to go to a let's say service center. You see a human being, you talk to them, you convey your problem to them, they'll revert back to you. Again, that is actually a generalist role which anyone and everyone can play, where you have everything scripted. You don't have anything specialized. So if you don't do any specialization, you'll end up into generalist profile. If you do certifications and you upgrade your skills with some exposure into it, then I'm sure you will be retained back in those core departments where still we require manpower at a larger scale, but that too only in restricted areas. And now this automation COVID experience has given us a new environment of working, that is work from home. So you see, you'll be, I'm sure sometime later down the time, you'll find ATMs where you'll get virtual assistants. And instead of putting up a card and all, you'll find a like scanner where they'll be able to scan your face, and based on that facial recognition only, you'll be able to do your transactions. So technology is changing, humans have to change. So you need to understand the upcoming technology. If you are able to adapt to the upcoming technology, like let's say you have machine learning, big data analytics. So if you are able to do some certifications and courses on these platforms, or on coding, like there are some good languages like Python. And you see, if you are good in these courses and these programs, these languages, so you see your adaptability into market will be much easier. People, or you see HR department will be recruiting you. Why? Because you are updated with the latest technology. So you need to stay updated with no expectation, and best fit policy will be there for sure. HR people will be taking you to the right location, and you should be ready to accept things coming to your way. And this is again very important thing which might have been in my previous part of discussion also, where like who is going to survive or get success. Adaptability to given scenarios is very, very important. If you are able to change, then I don't think so anything happening in future 10 years, 20 years down the line, any disruption that is going to come in will be able to disrupt you also. Why? Because every time there is something unexpected and you are able to adapt to them, this is how you will be able to adapt to all future challenges too.
Yes, it's totally makes sense, because AI is not erase our job. AI is the will part of our future.
Yes, they will be for sure complementing your profile. They'll make your job easier. Routine type of jobs will be taken away, but something which requires your mind application, there things will be for sure in favor of humans.
Okay, so I believe many students watching this are confused about their future. So if a student today feels completely lost, confused about career, pressure, comparison, and direction, what would be your honest advice to them?
You see, I feel like don't do any degree. If you are stuck, you don't have any clarity, join a company, any company on a very basic profile, like you see data entry operator.
Okay.
Do your job. When you're making money, people will exploit you like anything. When exploitation will happen, your mind will be more aligned to what you actually want to achieve. So maybe giving a short duration of, let's say, 6 months to 1 year, you can not only get some pocket money for as a saving for your future initiatives, but also you get a clarity as to would you like to actually go for some studies or any particular program. So you see, imagine you have to work in industry for approximately 40 to 45 years. On a higher side, I'm saying. So you cannot survive in an area where you don't have any interest. So in figuring out what is your interest is very, very important. So there are some psychometric tests which helps you to understand what type of personality are you, and then accordingly you can shift to those types of profile. But thing is, like, again, you don't have many authorized test centers or service centers where you can get this type of service. So point is, based on your skill set, if you understand your profile well, so I feel like your like you see, identification of a job profile which suits to your trait is a bit easier. And then nowadays things are changing so fast, I don't think so we do have much of time. Again, this is something I'm trying to build up a pressure on to youngsters. But thing is, like, you whenever you go into a stress, take a breath and then see whether you're able to understand. If you are not able to understand, take some gap, so that you finalize your thing. Don't think like if you have some gap here, it will be a big hurdle and will not be able to, like you see, overcome it in an interview. No. Take your time to understand what actually you would like to do. If you get your clarity, then only you'll be putting up your 100% of effort. Doing something unknowingly, you may be active for 5 days. Thereafter, your energy will be lose out over the period of time. So I feel like this is how you should focus.
Okay, sir. And sir, I also want to talk about the money itself. So in today's generation, social media often makes success look very first, say luxury lifestyles, instant money, quick success. And but from your understanding of finance and life, what is the biggest mistake young people make when thinking about money?
You see, our generation and this new generation, the gap is like, in our case, we used to save first and then spend later. This new generation is you spend now, pay later.
Okay.
Philosophy has totally changed. You see, we never lived in any stress. Only thing is, like, if I am able to afford this mobile phone or something, I'm able to, like, you see, if I'm not able to afford, I'm not interested to buy that thing. So it's giving me a very peaceful sleep. When I'm going to bed, I don't have any thought of like I have to pay back these much amount of EMI and all. But this new generation, talking to this new generation, what I've seen is like people are fond of using technology, and they want to have the latest version of mobile phones. Maybe sometimes it is very costly also, but without having any source of regular income. Thing is, like, how you are going to repay, no one is thinking on it. And maybe this is why, because we are all falling into a trap where we are looking at our environments, and if some other person is using it and there is a social status associated to your brand of phone that you're using, you see people go mad and they try to do it. But ultimately, you see, if you do like this, you'll be ending up into a serious trouble where your family may not be able to afford, and you may fall into a debt trap.
Right.
So debt trap to be avoided at any cost. Try to save some amount of money, because you have to do your homework. So let's say for a product I need 50,000 rupee. If I have a saving of 25,000, then I should go for the same. Why? Because I have already done my homework, my part of the work, and then remaining 25,000 you can, let's say, borrow it from someone. Thing is, like, if you are buying this device for 50,000 rupees, you are able to recover, let's say, 10 times of the value in terms of like any sort of commercial output from it. Let's say you're buying a mobile phone and then you're using it for some reel creation, content creation, and you're putting it onto YouTube. Makes sense. That you're keeping a mobile phone only to show off your friends is going to be, like you see, very troubling. You may not understand the implications, but you see there is a concept of CIBIL score. If you destroy your CIBIL score at such an early stage, means the later part of your story is going to be very, very depressed. No one will be willing to give you loan. Nowadays it is automation. You cannot hide your information with anyone. It will be easily accessible on various other, like you see, databases. All banks and these financial institutions, when they lend someone, they do have their, like you see, common platforms of default. So if you're defaulting once, it is going to be a regular feature. Why? Because you see this tendency is going to be repeated time and again. So you have to be a disciplined investor. Or you see any sort of investing decision where you're supposed to block in your money, it should have been taken very carefully by looking into what type of output, or you see cost benefit analysis. You're going to buy a phone, this cost is 50,000. What is your benefit out of it? So if this benefit is exceeding your costs, then you are recommended to go for it. If it is not the case, you may get momentarily, like you see, gains by feeling good owning a phone, but what sort of output if you don't have a plan? You cannot utilize this phone for anything which is commercial in nature. You're not able to generate any income out of it. So it's going to be a pure trouble. You're not only putting yourself into trouble, but sometimes when you end up with no solution, you actually sometimes commit certain things which are, like you see, very, very dangerous. You're taking loan from unauthorized people, and then these recovery agents mistreat you, or maybe sometimes family reputation also comes into picture. So we need to play very safe with taking loans.
So I think, sir, discipline plays a huge role here too. Like say you already said that discipline also very important. So if we need to maintain discipline. So when you look at highly successful people in finance, business, or leadership, so what habits or mindset patrons do they usually have in common?
See, if you see good people in terms of finance, and they are doing very well in finance, one thing that they need to have is, like, they have a very, very disciplined approach. So they don't break their routine. Like if you talk to me, I'm a person who don't have a fixed routine. If something comes to my mind, I'm not going into any exercise. But let's say if you look into people who have actually flourished a lot in this particular domain, is like they have a very disciplined thing. Like they balance their personal life with professional life, and when it comes to profession, they are very, like you see, particular about certain things. It is not about dictatorship or democratic method of doing things, but it is like, if you are given a task, are you taking the ownership? If you are taking the ownership, are you taking the results also onto you? Even though it is done by your team, if results have not been achieved, are you ready to accept this as a fault of yours and would like to, you see, cover up your team and all? Why? Because the moment you build up your trust with your team, people will start delivering on behalf of you only, actually. But you see, it is always an individual who is having the competence to deliver, but people are supposed to tell them their actual valuations. They need to make them realize as to what is their actual potential. So you see, it is the role of a leader. So again, I'm saying someone who is a disciplined fellow with, you will see this fellow's aura, his surrounding. He'll be having similar sort of disciplined people around him. So you will not be able to figure out anyone who is a casual oriented guy in their group. So grouping is very important. So how you pick people in your friend circle, they are very focused, very aligned. They know what specialization would they like to do. So specialization again matters a lot. So maybe in finance, if you look, you may find 20 types of, like you see, verticals where you can switch in. Now, which vertical would you like to go in? And whatever certifications you are going to do it all on your particular line only. Don't get distracted by looking into the brand names. Like KPMG is offering you something in accounting, but your profile don't have anything in accounting. So if you're trying to bring in KPMG in your CV, on your CV through this certification, but it is not adding any value to you. I have seen them. All these students, they are so particular, they don't do anything apart from what is their, like you see, requirement for their particular job role. So because resources are constrained for everyone, Time is constraint for everyone.
Right, so we need to go the exact direction, whatever we want to go.
You have to be very precise. You have, because resources are limited. You don't have time. You don't want to have gap years. It's not possible that you spend 3 years and then you realize it that you have to do something else and you start from scratch. So if you figure out something, let's say you're doing a degree, BBA financial markets, and then in first year itself you feel it that this financial market is not your interest area. So I don't feel that you should complete your program. Rather, what you do, there are two ways. One, you complete your program, do some complementary certifications. Second, you stop there. Why? Because you already felt it inside that this is not my course. So you put a full stop there. Maybe you might have lost half year to 1 year, but immediately you switch to another program which actually align to your goals and requirements. I know some of the students who are there in my program into finance, but they actually they themselves don't want to be into this particular thing. Parents have compelled them to go into it. So I feel like if you have some disagreement on a subject with your parents or your mentors or someone who is guiding you as to how you should proceed in your life, please make sure you have one thing. Either you convince them on what you're expecting, or get convinced from them. You cannot stay in a state of confusion, because confusion will never generate some good results out of it. It will always be troubling and you'll never be able to be satisfied in your life. So I feel you do what you feel good with. Don't go with someone's suggestion. If I'm telling you to do something and it don't align to what you're expecting, so I feel like you should drop it. It should not be a role model is telling you to do something. No. You have to be your own role model. You need to understand yourself inside out. So the only way to do this is, I feel like, meditation. And then once a while you sit in an isolation, thinking on what have you gone through, what was your liking, what type of, like, you see, when you, one more thing which I feel, start actively involving in various initiatives which are there in your surrounding area, like group discussions, domain specific activities like case discussion on finance or marketing, so that when you go into these discussions and all, sometimes you feel it whether this is your interest area or not. Would you like to carry it forward or not? So the only way to measure whether whatever you are expecting is going to be the right or not is to engage into it at a preliminary stage, where with basic things and some of your like, you see, event participation, you come to know whether you like it or not, and that is how you can judge whether you are the right one.
So it's wonderful. Your answer was very impressive, and so student will learn a lot of things from this conversation. Sir, now let's make a little bit fun. So it's a rapid fire round, sir. So are you ready, sir?
I'm
Okay. Sir, money or passion?
Money or
Passion.
passion? I feel like passion is more important.
MBA or real world experience?
Real world experience.
Risks or stability?
You see, I've been always with this concept of risk taking.
Okay. So skills or CGPA?
Skill is important.
So saving or investing?
Investing.
Okay. So discipline or motivation?
Discipline or motivation. For me, it goes with motivation.
Okay. Sir, this question is that very important question. Is based on you, sir. Sir, if you could sense one thing about today's student mindset, what would it be?
You see, I feel like students are like clay. And if you are given a freedom, I'm sure you can craft this clay in any manner you want.
Okay.
Students, you see, I tell you one thing, Anna, there is a course, microfinancing, which I'm teaching. Before, this is a course which I was having it prior to my HOD role also. So as a faculty, when you deliver it, student sometimes have a thought, like, let me go to HOD and talk to them, and then I would like to switch this course. Why? Because this is more of practical. I don't want to go into practical. I would like to have an easy course which is theoretical in nature, because this is my final year. So I've seen, after getting this HOD ship, one good thing which has happened is, like, if I'm going into a classroom and I'm saying I'm the HOD and I'm teaching this course, I don't see students moving here and there. And the same bunch of students are delivering with exceptionally well results. First year when we did this course, and students were supposed to go into market and then do some field project, like they have to organize an event where they are bringing in a industry trainer. They are not charging anything to those target audience, but still they are able to generate revenue from those events in the form of sponsorship by industry, and then they are able to do these events along with some additional academic outputs like copyrights, patents, book chapters. So you see, this is very challenging assignment, and in one course with only 2 CAs you cannot expect this much. What I've observed is like students are like water. You put them into any shape of bottle, they'll get them crafted into it very easily. Only thing is like if you start telling them that there is a way out, you put an RMS, you will be exempted from this, then this is what is obstructing students' learning process. So I feel like teachers should be given more they should be more empowered, they should be given their freedom, and you see, they cannot be blocked by any student complaint and all. Then you'll see better results. Why? Because student will have a clarity that because teacher is whole and soul in charge, and they are giving you an assignment, you have to deliver. So you see here, rather than customer oriented, it should be like, you see, teacher student should be a relationship where students are learners and teachers are instructors, and they need to complete their you see, minimum engagement or minimum academic requirements as per the, like you see, policy of your university, without having any exception. If you give them an exception, they'll try to use it.
Okay.
So one side we say autonomy is very good, but on other side I feel that like in teaching, if you give dictatorship, like you see, there are certain preset things. Let's say we can debate on it, we can have a fight on it, like what type of field projects can be given, but once it is finalized, it should be strictly implemented all across. Student will be, like you see, they will be for sure delivering it. First year, the revenue that we have generated was somewhere around 75,000, and it was a big achievement. And I thought it was a big achievement because no one ever thought anything to be done like this. And I tell you, it is all done by students. Students, they are the, like you see, soul power. We are just the instructors guiding them how they can do it, but they are the people who are doing it. Guiding is easy, executing is very tough. So in second round, we got revenue up to 4.5 lakh rupee. No one ever imagined that we can do like this. So 4.5 lakh rupee revenue generation, approximately 60 copyright application files have been uploaded, 10 patents, 2 books. This is all what we have extracted from one section. Imagine if it is there in, let's say, multiple sections or on a bigger audience group, what type of output can be possible through student engagement?
Yes, sir. So now it's coming to the last question. That was very special question. This question is from your students. All of the students asked this question. So please have a look, sir.
Achha, this is the question then.
Yes, sir.
Sir, honestly, handling a whole class full of students with different personalities.
So let me read, sir. So, okay. Sir, that all the students ask. Honestly, handling a whole class full of students with different personalities is not easy at all. Sometimes students misbehave, make noise, or don't pay attention, and many teachers naturally get angry or start shouting. Because of that, some students even feel scared to ask questions openly. But one thing we have noticed about you is that you usually handle the class very calmly, and sometimes even with humor and a smile instead of anger. So I really want to ask, how do you manage to control the class without becoming too aggressive? And how important do you think a friendly environment is between teachers and students for real learning?
You see, to answer this question, I feel like there is a journey that every teacher needs to go through. When you're in your first phase, into your beginning mode only, teacher may not have exposed to bigger classes, different mindsets. Hence, they may go into immature reaction, that is showing their anger to students, shouting at students. But with the passage of time, why? Because you see, that time you don't have this experience, so you bound to react. That is all natural. Someone is doing something, you do opposite of the same, just to prove that yes, you have not stayed calm. But over the passage of time, what I have observed is, like in the initial few years, I was also very aggressive. Used to point out to the students, but over the time what you observe is like class is giving you energy. If you convert this energy into output, you'll get good results. But if you try to control them, dominate them without listening to what they're saying, you see, I feel like teacher is only because of students. So if students are there in class and they are not able to be controlled, control is not the right word, but if they are not able to be managed by a teacher, means it is teachers in inefficiency, not students, like you see, indiscipline or something. Either your content should be such where you engage them very positively, or you should have this art of engaging. Engagement only comes in when you look into the audience and then you see around, topic is going on, but you see some movement somewhere in your class and you feel it that yes, this is a group where they are not listening to you. Now you see how you engage it to them is going to give a clear picture, and then maybe other groups, wherever there is a distraction, they'll also get motivated or demotivated from how you engage with them. So I feel like respect is very important. You give respect to students, what they actually deserve, because they are coming from very far off places and then they are in classroom. Why? For a learning purpose. They are paid for it. Naturally they will start reacting when they don't get what is being desired. So as a service provider, as a, like you see, caretaker, it's your duty, moral duty, to make sure your class is going out with satisfaction. It's only possible when you listen to them. Many people, when it comes to course teaching and all, I am sure course teaching don't have any problem. Only thing is, like, many times they do have their ideas and they don't have, like you see, the confidence to stand up and ask it to you. So your only role as a teacher is to facilitate them so that they speak on their question and take their question not as a, like you see, as a sign of aggression that they are asking you a question, so they are going to challenge your authority. No, take it very positive. Think as a teacher, from students' perspective. Here role play is going to play a very important role. Students should try to look into teacher's mindset by stepping into the shoes of a teacher. Imagine if you are a teacher and you are standing on the other side of your class, how are you going to respond to a given situation in classroom? And same is the case with teachers too. You need to go into the mindset of a student because they all have their so many issues. They are not able to express it. So many a times they are struggling financially. They have you see, sometimes they do have physical challenge. Emotionally, they are disturbed. So you don't know. So you cannot comment. What I feel is, like, it is through experience you'll start understanding, like, your audience very well, and then maybe that is the time when your audience is also very smart nowadays. They'll assess you in first or second lecture and accordingly will take you throughout the semester. So it is always a two-way process. You give respect, you'll get respect. You try to listen what they're saying, they'll try to listen what you're saying. It is two-way. So you cannot have only one directional. Unidirectional things will not be materializing much. Teachers may be struggling. Why? Because they are unidirectional. Right. So this may improve both teachers, lecture delivery, and maybe students also will be able to understand teachers bit well. Why? Because again, teachers are under pressure. There are so many policies that you have to follow, and CA, rubrics, evaluation, so many things. So I'm sure students are also very, like you see, they are very careful in asking some favors from faculty members, because they know it. If there is a set pattern of evaluation, you cannot go out of it.
That's right.
So it's always two ways.
So both need to have the respect for students and teachers, right?
Yes.
So all answer is very impressive, and it was a very wonderful answer. The student will learn something. So thank you so much, sir, for being with us and for sharing your perspective and experience. So it's a lot to us, and sir, I believe student will learn something from this podcast. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Rishi and team. Why? Because you see, these types of sessions may, again, what I feel is, as an HOD, you stay back in your cabin up to 5. Students do have their issues which are 24/7. Sometimes students feel it, this person is very strict because they don't know much about you. I feel like rather than assuming anything about a person, go to that person, talk to that person, and then you make your own conclusions rather than believing someone's. So maybe this interaction will go across to students, and sometimes maybe some of the students who may have a negative or a reservation for me may come across to my table for a discussion.
Okay,
that makes sense.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope you learned something from this podcast, because this is not just about finance. It was about real life, pressure, career, and about the realities of student life. And I genuinely believe this type of conversation help us to grow not only professionally but personally too. And if you get even a single valuable thing from this podcast, please make sure to subscribe Rishi Project Decoded channel. For you, it only takes a second, but for us, it means a lot. It encourages us and it helps us to bring more valuable podcasts to you. And one last thing I just want to say, if you think this podcast can help even a one person around you, maybe it's your friend, maybe it's your classmate, maybe it's your colleagues, or someone who confused about their future. So please do share it with them, because sometimes one conversation, one perspective, or one piece of advice is enough to change the direction of someone's future. So yeah, I will see you in the next podcast. Till then, keep improving, keep growing, and keep exploring new perspectives. Thank you guys.